Hey guys, welcome back to the Second Time Lucky Mining channel. In today's quick video, we are going to have a look at the mining statistics for the month that has passed, which is March. Can you believe it? Q1 is already done and dusted. If you like the mining content, please like the video and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. That will help me out a great deal. But enough of shilling my channel, let's jump into the content. Can you believe it? Today is the 1st of April, and yes, this is not a joke video or April's Fool's video. This is the end of the first quarter of 2023, and as per usual, I have a look at the mining statistics for the end of the month, and in this case, the end of March. Now, March has been crazy month in the crypto space, specifically in the GPU mining space. As to why, it has all of a sudden started to become profitable. Now, if you've watched my previous video, or at least the month of February's video, you would have seen that stuff has slowly started to pick up, but at least in the month of March, stuff has really started to pick up. And in today's video, you'll probably see as soon as we jump on the computer, there's really one thing that has dominated the month of March, and that is the profitability that has come back, and that is probably most importantly thanks to the Casper profitability that has come back. Yes, there's Dynax and there's some other coins, and it's actually quite nice to see, on the profitability calculators out there that there's actually more than one coin, and that gives us more options. Now, before I digress too much, let's have a look at what we are going to look at specifically in this video. As usual, I look at the mining statistics, or at least the HiveOS statistics for the end of the month. And really, why am I doing that is I wanted to have a look and see what are the trends and what are people moving to. Yes, and this is where the disclaimers comes in. Looking at the HiveOS statistics is obviously not perfect. Like any statistics depends on the angle that you're looking at. And why is it not perfect? Well, HiveOS is just one mining OS out there. There is multiple other Linux mining operating systems and potentially people that are crazy and mining on Windows. Now, again, what I'm looking for is not necessarily the data, as in the raw percentages, it's just the change and what people are doing. So that's really what I use the mining statistics for. We are going to focus as usual on the 4 statistics that I look at every single month, and I've been doing it almost feels like more than a year. But the couple of stuff that we will be looking at is the most popular coins. Surprise, surprise, it's going to be Casper. Next up, the dominance between AMD and Nvidia, so what are people using to mine. Then we're going to have a look at the most popular GPUs in the Nvidia and AMD stable, and then we are going to have a look at the most popular miners, so having a look and see what mining software people are using. And that's really the statistics that we track every single month, and that gives us a good idea of what people are mining, what graphics cards are they using, and then which mining software are they specifically using. Again, it gives me a nice trend in the market to see what people are doing. Now, enough talking about it. Let's jump on the computer and I'll show you guys what the stats looks like for the end of March.
Okay, so here we are on the computer, and the first statistic that we're going to have a look at is the most popular coins. And I'll leave a link in the video description to the HiveOS statistics page in case you wanted to go there yourself. But as you can see here, the most popular coin is Casper, followed by Ethereum Classic, Ravencoin, Nexa, and then Ergo. So as you can see, Casper is by far the largest coin. But what I like to look at more specifically is the trends, what has changed and who has lost out. And that's typically what you don't get from the HiveOS statistics. Now, what I have is my Google Sheet open, and I'll leave a link in the video description in case you guys wanted to follow this. And I've been following it and tracking it for a long time. This little indicators here at the top, you can actually go back in months. But as you can see here, there's a massive jump in the Casper mining, and that's purely because the profitability has increased massively. But as you can see here, it's at the expense of a couple of other coins. Now, the biggest one being Ethereum Classic. And I'm actually surprised that there were still potentially GPU miners on Ethereum Classic, but it looks like a lot of people have moved over. There is some bleeding across some other coins. So here you can see Ravencoin, Flux, even Ergo, and some of these other things. That's really people that has moved to the more profitable Casper mining. Now, the next thing that we are going to have a look at is the most popular GPU brand. And generally, that's the split between NVIDIA and AMD. I haven't seen a lot of Intel popping up here, but if I just jump back to the HiveOS statistics and scroll a little bit down, as you can see here, currently the the split is 68%, 32. It's been hovering around, if I just go back to my tracker, around the 60-40 split for the longest time, and since I've been tracking it. But the last couple of months, it slowly started to creep up. It used to be 63, and then slowly it's now 68. So it feels like we're going to, hit that 70-30 mark in some point. And, really the new 7000 AMD GPUs, well, to that fact, the 40 series on the NVIDIA side isn't really that, great for mining. Well, it is great, but the prices are just so expensive, and hence, why we probably don't see miners using them. But looking at it, it looks like NVIDIA is gaining a little bit of traction on AMD on the mining front. Now, next up, let's have a look at the most popular GPUs. I'm just going to flick back to HiveOS, and starting on the NVIDIA side here, it's no surprise again that we find the 3070, 1660 Super, 3060 Ti, 2060, so that's actually what's surprising for me a little bit, and the 3060 Ti LHR followed by the 3080. So there hasn't been a real change in the popular NVIDIA GPUs. And if I just go back to my trends here, you can see, the 3060 Ti LHR has troughed up slightly and picked up more 3060s. But really, it's the same sort of brand or family of GPUs, the LHR versus non-LHR one. So, I don't count that as a significant movement or something to read something into. So, it's really business as usual on the NVIDIA GPU front. Where the most efficient GPUs is typically what we see at the top, and there's really not a massive change between them. Now, taking a look at the most popular AMD GPUs, I'm just going to flick back to HiveOS. Here you can see the GOAT, the king, the RX 580 is still the most popular GPU on the AMD front, and followed by the RX 5700 XT, Navi 1, so 10%. The 578 gig, the 6700 XT, and the 6600 XT. Now, if I have a look at the trends, and this is where it becomes a little bit interesting, if I just flick over, you can see here that the 580 and 570, so basically the Polaris GPUs, has lost a little bit of traction here. You can see it's almost 2% on the 580s, and that makes total sense. This GPU has had the longest time being the most popular, and potentially people are selling it off, or at the very least switching it off. Now, what you would also see is the older, or let's say the newer GPUs is gaining a bit of traction. So the efficient GPUs, the 6700 XT, 6600 and 6600 XT is gaining a little bit of traction here as people are potentially switching off or selling off their RX 580s. Lastly, let's have a look at the mining software people are using. So if I jump back to HiveOS and scroll a little bit down here, now what you will see is LOL Miner has gained quite a bit of traction in the recent months here, followed by Team Red Miner, G Miner, there's some ASIC Miner here, but then T-Rex, and then NB Miner. Now, this doesn't really tell a full picture here. It's clear that LOL Miner is the most popular one, and I suspect it's because of some of the efficiencies that we have seen that come out from LOL Miner. They really release new updates pretty often, but let's have a look at the trend and what's changed. Now, as you can see here, looking at the miners stats or the changes in the stats here, this is the massive jump that we saw on LOL Miner here. So a massive from 18% to 27%. So that's a massive jump where people have switched over. And looking at it, people has moved over from T-Rex, NB Miner, and some of the other miners here. So that's really the shift. A lot of people are using LOL Miner, and to be honest, they have been pretty on point at releasing efficiencies and providing dual mining capabilities. So it makes sense that we've seen a shift to LOL Miner. And personally, I am using LOL Miner for some of the mining that I'm doing at the moment.
That's it for this video, guys. If you've liked the video, please like the video and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. If you didn't, please specify in the comments what you would like me to change. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.